Sorry if we've been quiet around here. We're just in the last bit of finishing up this movie we've been working on. And so every day of my life has been dedicated to that. But I had to make a video because what I saw tonight actually made me ponder, like I have so many other times in recent years, whether or not we're living in the movie they live. First off, let me say that if you live in the Midwest or an even remotely northern state, this might make you laugh a little, but it'll be in a really sad way. So tonight we decided to drop by the grocery store for a few things because we saw in the forecast that it was going to dip below freezing and there might be some freezing drizzle overnight and that the next day or two could be a little dicey with lows of 26 and then 19 and wind chills in the single digits, which is a suck fest for sure, but it's not the catastrophic doomsday level worth a Weather Channel mega disaster special or anything.
Tonight on World's Worst Storms.
When we got to the grocery store, however, I saw something in a grocery store that I've never actually seen in real life. Whole entire shelves of the grocery store were picked clean, and people were in the aisles fervently talking on their smartphones and to each other all about how bad the weather was about to be and how they were stocking up because the power might go out. It was going to get really, really bad outside, and we actually started to wonder if we'd possibly read the wrong weather forecast.
At least if it's a weather apocalypse, everyone will have sour cream.
The only thing that's left in this case is the cowboy bacon meatloaf. Whatever that is. Because I could feel a sense of nervous tension in people all around me, a general disturbance in the force, and the level of completely freaking out was disproportionately high to what I had read the weather was supposed to be.
Seriously, you would think it was the end times.
But we continue to go about our business attempting to get the few things we came for. But the craziness was aisle to aisle. Everywhere we went, it was 90% of people freaking out, and the other 10% of people wondering what the hell was wrong with the rest of everybody else.
These people are hugging. They're probably hugging it out because it's going to be cold tomorrow. And they're not sure they're going to make it. Look at this. Seriously. It's literally going to be cold for a day.
And then it hit me. It was watching the news that did this to these people. Not reality, the news. When I got home, I double-checked the weather, and there is a winter storm warning in effect for most of the area. School districts all across central Texas have canceled class for the day tomorrow, which makes total sense because you have wind gusts up to 25 miles an hour with possible freezing drizzle throughout the morning, and nobody wants to send their child to stand out in the bus stop waiting for school in that kind of weather. And if the bus driver is one of the people that was at the grocery store, you obviously don't want a person with that mindset driving a bus full of children to school. But the advisory warning on NOAA's site clearly states that ice accumulations are going to be up to 1/10 of an inch. Not 1 inch, 1/10 of an inch. And if I sound flippant about that, let me just back up a bit to say that I come from Missouri, where you can easily experience all 4 seasons of the year within the span of a single week, and I have. I have lived through what they now apparently refer to as the Great Flood of 1993, multiple tornadoes, hailstorms with the giant hail that rips through things, and during the 2007, the Great Ice Storm of the Midwest in 2007, I just so happened to live in Springfield, Missouri, where I actually had to evacuate my apartment because all of the power went out, plunging over 70,000 people in town into total darkness on a freezing cold January night after several inches of ice weighed down all of the trees and broke them, and they were falling on all the power lines, and transformers across the city were just exploding everywhere. So in other words, when the forecast says accumulations of ice 1/10 of an inch are possible, doesn't mean it's gonna happen, it just means it could. On levels of magnitude of horrible weather, that's like a minor annoyance. That's not even really a headache. That's just kind of annoying, and then it'll be over and it's not that big of a deal. But that's not what it was like in that grocery store. For reasons it took me a little while of walking around that store as if I had stepped into a live Twilight Zone episode to understand, People were really, really freaking out. And it's gotta be the news. The grocery store wasn't even like this in the lead up to Hurricane Harvey, okay? So out of curiosity, when I got home, I looked up local Austin, Texas weather forecasts on YouTube. Check out how this woman is reporting on this winter weather advisory.
Okay, so fortunately schools are closed, a lot of businesses as well. We urge you to stay off the roads overnight. Tonight, temperatures quickly falling, a winter storm warning in effect for the first time in nearly 3 years.
In nearly 3 years! Again, I'm just saying, I come from a place where winter storm warnings, that's just winter. They just call that winter, okay?
And it covers the entire CBS Austin area until 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. Couple of problems. Right now, the cold front has already pushed through. It's bringing a lot of rain. This is likely to wash away all of the efforts that the crews have been doing pre-treating our roadways.
She seems excited about it, doesn't she?
Then temperatures quickly dropping. We've already got, I saw a spot in Llano County at 36 already.
I mean, she saw a spot in Llano County that's at 36 already. I'm pretty sure where I'm from right now, it's about 5 degrees outside. I mean,
Once temperatures reach freezing, we're going to start to see trouble because the wet roads will turn to icy roads, especially if the treatment is ineffective now that it's being washed away.
she's just so excited about the pre-treatment of the roads possibly being washed away and the roads being icy. I've never seen anyone this excited to report such depressing. It makes me question whether or not she uses drugs.
Here's that freezing line according to our radar, and it's continuing to drop southward quickly. DFW area experiencing sleet and snow. We are just waiting ducks, sitting ducks, waiting for this to all happen.
You see what I mean? I'm done with her. I'm not going to keep playing this because it goes on for another several minutes. But we are just waiting ducks. We're just sitting ducks waiting for this to happen to us.
We are just waiting ducks, sitting ducks, waiting for this to all happen.
You hear that? That's what she's saying. Sitting ducks. Every person who's watching this is just waiting, sitting ducks. That is what watching this brain-defiling perpetual psyop circus does to people. It turns them into sitting ducks. This is what happens when people let the news dictate their behavior. They get triggered, they freak out, and they run around screaming.
We are just waiting ducks, sitting ducks, waiting for this to all happen.
Ollie, it's gonna rain!
I'm not saying don't be prepared. When I did the November 4th video and correctly called that nothing was going to happen, it was all hype because it reeked of hype, I had people in there angry saying I'm telling people not to be prepared. No, I think everyone should always be prepared. Being prepared is very smart. Preparedness is a smart thing to do. But obviously none of these people were prepared if a little winter weather warning forecast spurs them all into this hive mind herd mentality of freaking out and buying every single can of soup they can get their hands on. And I guess what I'm saying is it's moments like this that I realize exactly why Roddy Piper came out and said the film They Live was a documentary before his untimely death. You want a solution? Get rid of your cable box. Get rid of your cable. Save all the money you spend on filling your head with this garbage that was always first and foremost a military product and is a total psyop that's meant to pollute your brain with so many levels of the wrong kind of thinking that continue to make you a slave in your own life.
What deadly new diseases can you pick up by sitting down? Toilet seat terror next on Six Ed World.
Besides, I have physical proof that your entire bill, what you pay for that, just goes to them aggressively printing off sales ads to stalk me in my mail because I refuse to be a consumer.
I can't tell. Is that supposed to be your hypothalamus or a hypnotic eye spiral?
Seriously though, one of the best things I ever did for my overall stress level in my life was to get rid of cable.
Is it normally this busy right about now?
It was busier. Like you couldn't even breathe.
I'm sick because everyone in the aisles is freaking out.
I mean, you should. If you were here before 5:30, you probably would have walked out the door like, screw that.
The meat section's cleared out, the soup is gone. There's no soup. There's no sour cream. You will have to wait for an entire 24 hours before you can savor the flavor of the sour cream baked potato. Oh, and it'll be cold.
It was a panicked atmosphere. And I heard people joking about what happens when the power goes out and calling their loved ones, talking about how they're stocking up on food. And I smelled urine in the aisles. Back to you, Melissa.
And if people would act like this over this, then can you imagine what they would act like over even something that halfway deserved such a fear-based response? At least the weather is something that directly affects people. But most of the time, they just send people skittering about like scared little mice over things that actually never directly affect them or their lives at all. That they wouldn't even know about if they weren't paying money to subject themselves and their minds to it. You see what I'm saying? People would be a lot less stressed out. They'd be a lot less upset, and they wouldn't go flock to grocery stores and act as if the end was nigh for the 1/10 of an inch of ice. I see people all the time zombie walking through their day, or filling themselves up full of toxic poisons, or just seething with anger and hatred for random strangers who live halfway around the other side of the planet that they've never laid eyes on, or angry about something that football players did, or I don't even know. Every button they have has been pushed. They're completely manipulated, utterly sick, and they're trapped and dying in the life that their television has programmed them to live. And there's a reason that they call it programming.
We are just waiting ducks, sitting ducks.
And I guess I just want to make this video because tonight was a really sterling example of that.
We are just waiting ducks, sitting ducks, waiting for this to all happen.